Now that you've found UBN Radio and discovered our quality talk shows, it's time to spread the word to friends, family, and the universe. 24 hours of music and talk. Radio without limits. That's why people keep coming back for more. That's ubnradio.com.
Hey, and greetings, everyone, and salutations. You have tuned in to Dr. Judy WTF right here on the UBN Radio Network. And don't get ahead of me. WTF stands for What the Freud.
Oh, you're just saying that, Walt.
Well, I am. It could be Walt the Fun, but you know, today it's Dr. Judy WTF, and we are a call-in show. We're going to have a special call-in shortly. Richard Branigan, who is he's the mayor of New Haven, Connecticut, I believe it is.
Richard Branigan has a lot of accolades.
He's not the mayor. He runs the town, even though he's not the mayor.
and fundraising with children, and he has an extensive background, which we will get into. And he's quite a humanitarian. And
yes, he's an amazing humanitarian.
Yes.
And folks, if you're just tuning in, we can be heard on, of course, the UBN Radio Network website on Channel 2. We are the Insight Channel. Or you can hear us on TuneIn, or you can pull our podcasts on Stitcher or iTunes. And our website is drjudywtf.com. And if you have any queries, questions, comments, or concerns, and you can write us at info@drjudywtf.com. And later in the show, as usual, we have a Shrink That Tune that we're going to do, where I read the lyrics and Dr. Judy interprets it from her perspective and the mind map.
so this show is about healing human disconnect, and tonight we're going to be healing human disconnect through children.
Primarily through children's perspective,
Right.
You bet.
And one of the things that Walt and I talk about quite often is that childhood is a hostage situation.
Yes, it is.
Meaning that we are not the cause of part one of our lives because we were babies and we had to really be subject to whatever was being fed to us emotionally and otherwise. And so here we're now going to be speaking about children who are haves on some level because they have abilities, they have talent, they've been trained in dance specifically, and they're generous and they're able to give to the community. So
and give back.
Yes. And the point is that one of the ways that we are able to be giving is when we are being emotionally fed. And I always go back to attachment theory, John Bowlby, father of attachment theory, and how he talks about what it takes to form a healthy human psyche. And
Yes,
what
indeed.
it takes to form that is parents who are there, parents who are consistent, who are attuned to their children, preferably mothers who breast milk, stay-at-home mothers who attend to children. And these forms of attunement, these forms of secure attachment build a human psyche that's full, as opposed to a psyche that has a hole in the soul. And so these children have, obviously, I'm assuming that most of them are coming from a place of families that are loving enough and giving enough so that they themselves can share their light. And so I'm very excited about having Richard on as a
Well,
guest.
you know, what's interesting is you and I talked about before the show the fact that, you know, normally the role models that we all look to and look up to are adults.
Right.
Right? Mm-hmm. But in this instance, it isn't the adults, it's the kids.
Isn't it time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it can happen in this town, it can literally happen all over the country, anywhere.
And you know, one of the things that we don't talk enough on our show is the subject of creativity. And so what does it take for us to be creative as human beings is that we have to have our basic needs met. If we're not sleeping well, if we're not in some sense feeling security, then we're too busy surviving. And creativity is on a level of hierarchical evolution. Creativity is beyond survival. Okay, so, right?
Well, yeah, so it's giving back.
Right. That's right. So
Yeah.
when you're creative and you're giving back, that means that your primary needs are met, and now you have enough to give. And so this subject that we're going to delve into tonight, and I really want to learn about the children and who they are and where they come from and how they've been inspired to be a part of this, and obviously what it must feel like for them to be making a huge difference already at their tender ages, and to be contributing in profound ways and really making things happen.
Those of you who want to do a little homework before Richard comes on, his website is KFK danceforlife.org. That's Kids for Kids, or KFK danceforlife.org.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's fascinating that kids really are looked up to adults to be examples. And again, when you look at Pavlov's
that's one of it almost sounds like that. Actually, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Maslow.
Maslow,
right?
His hierarchy needs. Okay. When your cup is overflowing, when you've got your basic, again, your needs met. Your food, your shelter, and whatnot. Right. Now it's time to give back. And that's these kids are doing that, and it's amazing. He's raised over $800,000 in the 10 years he's had this foundation, this group, for the ill and primarily for sick children, which we're going to talk about.
So I want to know, Richard. I know you'll be on soon. How do you organize these children? How do you make this happen? And
with a full-time job.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. So. I just think children are role models. I mean, again, remember, we all have stuff that's been thrown at us from our parents, and childhood truly is a hostage situation. And I tell that to people all the time, and they look and stop and think, and like, it is. But part 2, and you're going to be learning more about that when Judy's Healing Human Disconnect book does come out and be released, that we are responsible for part 2 of our lives, which means, there's stuff that we got dealt as kids, and so what? We all got dealt a bum card or two, and maybe a few more, but we are responsible for part 2 of our lives. And as I've said before, it is not how you start that matters, it's how you finish. And the challenge is that we can't finish and improve ourselves in many instances by ourselves. We have to have someone else to kind of help us with our blind spots and where we are, or where we're not, or where we're going to want to be. And one of the best ways I know, especially this ready to show, is to check out Dr. Judy and her mind map system. And she has offices in Beverly Hills. She has 3 offices. Did you know that? You have an office in Beverly Hills, Sherman Oaks, and on the phone.
Right. I'm doing a lot of teletherapy, bringing on some new staff members, and also what I've been doing as of late is training people into the system, because this is a system. And what I'm finding is that psychotherapy without psychoeducation is not as powerful, because what people need to know is they need to become their own shrink. Again, not
you call it think like a shrink.
As I do. Think like a shrink. And if we're not thinking like shrinks by the end of the treatment plan, then we didn't learn enough, and we need to really understand systems. And I'm a systems thinker. And so when I put together a treatment plan for a patient, I'm looking at the cause. I'm looking at the wounds of childhood and the reactions and the encoding, and then how our self-esteem, which is what's been encoded into us, gets tripped up by life, and then becomes a nest for defensive reactions, and then later on breakdowns. And so today, through children, we're going to be talking about paradigm shifting out of that chaos and being the cause. Because ultimately we are the cause. And so these children have caused better lives for other, I think children specifically, other children. So I want to hear all about it. And for those of you who are not familiar with the mind map, it's up on my website with an explanation. And
you can go to www.drjudywtf.com and check it out.
Thank you. And there are lots of new blogs up there. I've been busy writing articles.
Oh, man.
Busy writing articles. So
I think she's gone through about a dozen pens, and they're all out of ink.
Well, fortunately on the computer. So I'm posting them fast and furiously up on the website. And the last one was about, what was it about? Tit for tat in relationships. And I just wrote an article today, which will hopefully come out on how to talk about race and racism and world events to our children. And there's a lot of...
You did one on relationships on dumper and dumpee.
Correct.
Yeah,
correct.
that
We're
was
going to have
pretty
to talk
interesting.
about that as a
And
subject
so
unto itself.
these blogs are preview of coming shows.
Yeah, thanks.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah. You read me the dumper and dumpee. That was pretty good. I liked it a lot. Yeah. So if you've ever been dumped or done the dumping, many years ago, I have two daughters, and guys would try and get their phone numbers, and in the LA area, there was a phone number that basically the guy would dial it, and the first thing he was recording, and it says, "You've been dumped."
Whoa!
they're expecting to get this girl's telephone number and their voice, and it started, "You've been dumped," and then it would go on and on about it. It's pretty hilarious.
Do we have a caller online yet?
No, we don't.
We're still waiting.
We got a
Okay,
couple
so
minutes.
hopefully we'll have a couple of minutes. But you wanted to bring something up because it's so relevant. You were talking about Facebook, and let's just throw in a tidbit of information.
The goal here is to healing human disconnect. And
right.
Our premise is we are more disconnected than ever as an individual, with ourselves, with our family, with our spouses, with our lovers, with our cohorts, with our people at work, with our family, our parents. But we talk about how Facebook really is more of a disconnecting entity than a connecting entity. And this article came out just 2 days ago. Facebook now crops up in 1/3 of divorce cases over cheating and old flames. I don't know how they do this, but they've looked at Facebook unwittingly provides evidence of infidelity and new relationships, helps track people's movements, and records expenditure on everything from cars to holidays.
So it's just like the new tracking system.
You know what? They couldn't do it in 60. Facebook did it in 8. What do? Who do you look like? Who are your friends? What do your friends look like? What do you do? Where do you go? Whether it's you're ordering that big latte at Starbucks or you're vacationing in Cancun or everything in between, right?
Right.
They know exactly. I had one client who was in the car repo business, and he was having difficulty, but he figured out Facebook. This lady would go, "Oh, I'm going to be at my children's birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese's this Saturday at 4 o'clock. Well, he knew what her car looked like, and there was the car.
Wow.
So the point is here that legal firms have caseloads and relied upon as proof of inappropriate behavior, and it's providing evidence of infidelity and new relationships. I was talking to a friend yesterday. Hey, this guy called this lady friend that I had in high school, and this guy was in his 60s, finally found me and said, you were the first person I kissed, and I've never forgotten you, and da-da-da-da-da. And, he's happily married and whatnot, and he was just thrown for a loop. So we all have these old flames that we had, and it's like, ooh,
and
maybe we should
this
connect them or
just
not.
reminds me, this is happening in my practice where
And you told me about a case that happened.
Absolutely. It just happened a couple of days ago where a patient of mine found a phone number on her boyfriend's cell phone, and then backtracked it, found the name of the woman, then Facebooked her, and just got a lot of information about it, and it's just...
Well, we did a show last year. Yeah, it's crazy. We did a show last year on fidelity and cheating, of course. And the nutshell, from my perspective, there's two kinds of cheating, infidelity. There's emotional infidelity, and then there's physical infidelity, right? And so, however, the internet can also provide useful source of other information. But the point is, they find clients coming up with information they found that is available in public domain, like proof of a relationship. But the point is here, photographs and comments made these forms on Facebook, and they'd be used as evidence as a relationship or a lifestyle change. So, be careful what you put on Facebook. It's more public than you think.
And is it so? You may or may not know the answer to this. If you are checking somebody out on Facebook, can they know that you're checking them out on Facebook? Is there a way to...
No.
No? There's no way?
No.
Oh, okay.
Not unless you post a comment, you like
I
a
see.
picture.
So this is anonymous.
You
You
send a
can-
message.
I see.
No,
Okay.
that it's
Okay.
totally anonymous. You can check
See.
out somebody. I mean, I've had friends that they've been blocked by their former friends or lovers, and they can make up a fake. Oh gosh, am I saying this? Fake profile, and they can go back and go, oh, I want to look up Betty, and Betty, I'm blocked by Betty on mine, but
You know
my
all the
fake one.
tricks. You know all.
Oh heavens, I
the
don't know that many
tricks.
tricks,
Yeah.
but I mean, yeah, it's all there. And sometimes when you Google yourself, you'll find your Facebook profile and stuff on it. Like, oh my gosh, it's all there.
And don't forget, everyone, this is a call-in show, and
Our call-in show.
call in.
Call in if you want to get on the
Yeah.
couch with Dr. Judy. It's area code 323-843-2826 here in the United States in Los Angeles area. 323-843-2826.
Okay.
So, you've probably get a lot of infidelity, and I'm sure Facebook has probably been an issue more than once.
And this is all going back to human disconnect.
Absolutely.
Right? So if we stay connected with each other, if we have a bridge of communication, if we pay attention to each other, then we're actually, by connecting with people, we're cheat-proofing our relationships.
Cheat-proofing.
Cheat-proofing.
Oh, wow. There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, how many TV shows are there, reality shows, where, it's about cheating? So it's a big deal.
A lot.
Oh, yeah.
Many.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot. So do you have any examples in your practice of kids being an example of an adult?
Kids being an example. Well, I have a lot of adults who grew up too quickly, and this is a problem. Alice Miller talks about this in her very, very famous book titled Prisoners of Childhood. And a lot of the people in my practice, and I know we've done many episodes on this, narcissistic injuries. Many people who grow up too quickly feel the burden of the world on their shoulders, and so therefore they become over-responsible. The joy is zapped out of their system, and oftentimes those people get in relationships where they give too much. And so then again, they repeat again the pattern of giving too much and being vampired of their energy. And so hopefully we will have a call-in soon. And I know there's a time difference there.
There is.
There's a 3-hour time difference. Yeah.
Save it.
Okay. So so while we're waiting for our guest, and hopefully the phone lines will be clear and we will have a guest tonight, I want to also suggest to you to please be so kind as to call in some favorite topics that you might be interested in, and so that we can really attune to our audience and get a pulse as to what you would like to hear from us. And as you know, we're looking at from the perspective of the mind map and how problems are created and how they're dismantled and how they're paradigm shifted into solutions. So we would like to hear from you. Please email us. Please call in and inform us what kinds of topics you'd like to talk about. And human disconnect takes many, many, many forms, from anxiety, depression, bipolar personality disorders, symptoms such as smoking, overeating, alcoholism, all the isms, and there's just a plethora, unfortunately, of human pathology, and I'm writing a thick volume on the subject of healing human disconnect. And
it's your tome.
so yeah.
Richard had technical difficulties getting us, so we have his
Okay.
number, so we're going to call him.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, really, definitely want to connect with him tonight. We've been talking a bit about formulating this show and making sure that we're representing children and their ability to be givers. And
Okay,
any luck there, Walt, in having him call in?
Well, we'll see if we can get him on the air.
Okay, awesome.
Well, here we go.
Okay. Dial it up.
Dialing. Have you reached the
Dialing.
number to whom we've...
Dial it up.
Is that how it's going to go? Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There we go. Have we reached the number to whom we're speaking?
Okay.
The person to whom we're speaking. See if he wants to, buy something.
He's
from
probably calling us as we're calling him.
Could be.
That's
No,
probably
this is
the
live
way it's
radio,
gonna go.
folks, and this is call-ins are
Right.
fun and always thrilling.
Always thrilling.
Wow. Where'd it go?
Hello?
Hey, Richard.
Yes.
Good evening. This is Walt Lusk with Dr. Judy WTF. You were on the air.
Hi, how are you?
We found you. So thanks for answering your
did.
phone. Thanks for answering your phone.
I love technology. It's a wonderful thing.
It certainly is.
So
Yeah.
thank you for being on air with us. And we were talking. I don't know if you heard the show up till this point. Did you, or are you just?
I have not.
Okay.
I apologize.
No
Okay,
worries.
No worries, but we've been talking about you and your work
Yeah.
with children, and we have so many questions.
Sure. Well, I'm calling tonight. Actually, I'm in New York currently, but I'm from Connecticut originally. And we have an organization back here on the East Coast called Kids for Kids Dancing for Life. It is part of my life. It has been for the last 20 plus years. My children have grown up in the organization. My wife and I co-lead the organization along with a dedicated board of all volunteers, both adult and youth. And what we do is we raise awareness and support, financial and other means of support for children in need. And we do that primarily through the efforts and the energies of children. We orchestrate their activities. We give them a platform to perform in many cases. And the benefit is twofold. One is that they are working on behalf of others who really need their help. And it could be a sick child. It could be a group that fosters great behavior in children or supports children's development, or another social issue such as domestic violence. But also it could be the financial need of a family who has a sick child that is burdened by their extreme financial expenses. And the other side of the picture is that by doing those activities that raise awareness and raise support for these children in need, they are bettering their own lives in the process. So the Kids Helping Kids is a motto of paying it forward, and one that we hope has helped breed a culture of caring where we are, and we affect many, many lives as a result in a very positive way. So we're very proud of that. It's one of the things that we do in our spare time, because we're all professionals in our own right, and the kids that are supporting the organization are actually mostly in school or in dance schools, and so it's a good collaboration and a good effort to benefit other children.
I was just curious, what age are these children? Where do they perform, and where can people see them perform if they want to?
Well, the ages of the performers generally start at about 5 years old and go all the way up to about 18. Primarily, these are young dancers, male and female. In some cases, they're coming as far away as California to compete, and we do a couple of benefit performances in a year. We're doing one in New Jersey, and we do a big one in Connecticut. It lasts 4 days, and they compete for scholarships and prizes and so forth. And I think we may be the only dance competition in the country where all of the proceeds go to children's charities. There's no paid staff. We do have professional judges, but all of the proceeds go to the charities that we're.
That's fantastic.
And again, can you please tell us the website so that people who do want to get involved or donate can access you? Could you please repeat that?
Sure. We're Kids for Kids Dancing for Life, so I think you can find us on, and we're changing our website currently to try and keep it up to date. It's kfkdancingforlife.org. And we're also on Facebook, and if people go on, they certainly can like us on Facebook.
Yeah, KFK, dancingforlife.org. We mentioned that earlier. So why do you think it's important for kids to get involved in such an early age?
You know, it's so easy to get wrapped up in your own life, and
it certainly is.
It doesn't take a lot to focus on your own problems and so forth. And I think that some people have to go through life in that particular way. But if kids and adults look beyond their world a little bit, they look to the external, and they look for opportunities to help others, they enrich their lives in so many different ways. It makes what they do and why they're here on this earth so much more valuable. And the younger those kids start doing that, the easier it is, the more natural it becomes. They start thinking outside of themselves. And when they do that, and the amazing thing that we've seen over the years is when kids actually perform on stage, and they're performing for a higher good. It's not for a prize, it's for something else. Their physical performance becomes amazingly better.
Wow.
And our judges are always remarking about that, because they're not as concerned about their hair or their makeup or their dance steps. They're more concerned about the charity that they're working for, and that's an amazing thing to instill.
Well, that's a very
and
interesting perspective. That's a very interesting perspective.
You know, we talk a lot on our show about sharing the light, and usually we talk about adults sharing the light and what it must be like for a child to learn at such an early age to share the light. And I'm just wondering, once they perform these dances, do they then get to participate in actually presenting the money to the families, or maybe even participate? I know you built a school, a playground.
We'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, okay, we'll get to that. But do they actually get to meet the children who they're helping? How does that work?
Sure, it works really well that way. We have several hundred children that participate in our events, and their families are there with them, the parents and siblings and grandparents in many, many cases. And we do all of our award presentations to them and include in each one of those a presentation or several presentations to the charities that we're supporting.
Wow.
And when we do that, we always have a representative available to tell the story. And sometimes those stories are quite moving. We actually have our own brand of tissues that we bring to our competition, because it is an emotional ride.
Yeah.
And when you take people on a journey like that, and you're telling the story that they helped create, the kids are really powerfully impacted by that. And
I don't think
we're proud of the results.
I don't think they'd be the only ones to be powerfully impacted. Can you give us a story that comes to mind that the success story or an impact or a situation that?
Oh gosh, yeah. I can
know
give you
a bunch.
My favorite is Ari.
Yeah.
A young lady who came to us suffering from a form of cerebral palsy. She was brought to us by actually one of our junior board members, Megan, who came across her as she was working in a therapeutic recreation program setting. And, this child was just severely handicapped at the time, and the parents were really trying hard to do the best they could for her. So we found out that she was in need of some experimental therapy that was done only in Florida, and it was specifically designed for children with her particular needs. And so our board decided that we were going to send her to that therapy, and it was about a month-long project. And I think part of what we gave her was about $10,000 to help defray the costs. And the amazing part is she went down and she shared pictures with us, and they had an amazing experience. And that was that was about a year and a half ago in the summertime. And the following Christmas, holiday time, we do an annual holiday show where the price of admission is a new toy, and all those toys go to underprivileged children. We generally bring in about 1,000 toys. Well, the biggest gift that I had that particular holiday season was when Ari came back to visit us, And instead of being in a wheelchair, she came walking across
Wow.
the auditorium lobby and gave me the biggest hug that I could ever imagine. And,
Wow.
and the following summer, we were able to bring her back to the competition just 1 year later. And she came up on the stage in front of those very same children, many of whom had been there the year before, to see her in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And she danced in front of them.
Oh
So, I mean,
my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
that's one of our amazing success stories, and there's several more just like that.
Wow. So
Wow.
so what do you think is the key to their success with the organization and getting young kids to help others?
I think it's a basic premise. It's just as simple as one kid helping another, and kids are naturally prone to do that. I think especially when you form an environment around them that supports it and encourages it all the way. They want to help. They want to use their talent. They want to do things in a positive way. And if they can see the benefit, if they can realize that what they do can make a difference, they'll continue to do that. So I think that message, that positive reinforcement, that focus on the opportunities that they have to help shape the world.
No doubt.
I think that's really helped us along the way.
I'm just really curious to know what the families in general of these children are like, because we speak a lot about emotional mental health and how children who are given to by their parents the emotional goodies, such as being there for your child and attuning yourself to your child, and then creating really the kind of mental health that makes for a whole, complete, healthy human being who has what to give. And so I'm just wondering if you find that the parents of these children are loving and giving and supportive, and really interested to know what kind of families these children are coming from.
I think these are parents who generally are involved with their children's lives. They want to be part of it. They're part of the process. They're supporting, and in many cases, our kids are coming in as dancers who are pretty serious about their craft, take a lot of lessons. Their parents sacrifice greatly to make sure that their kids are getting the benefit of the lessons and all of the choreography that goes with it and the costuming and so forth. But in our case, when they're doing the performance, it's for a different purpose. And we are constantly reminded by the parents who come to visit us that, they really appreciate what we do and the message that we're sending, because it reinforces a lot of the positive things that kids can take out of the experience, and not the overly competitiveness and the petty arguments that happen day in and day out in so many opportunities that they have. So we're seeing that the parents are appreciative, and they're also looking at other parents who are going through, as I said, we do these presentations, and they're meeting parents and talking with parents who are facing monumental illnesses with their children, and they're doing it with such great resilience and courage and love and caring for this poor young child who is going through, in some cases, grave illnesses, and they're just battling through it. So it's really a unique experience that the parents have when they come to us.
You're just tuning in. You're tuned in to Dr. Judy WTF here on UBN Radio Network, and we are talking to the dancing dad, Richard Branigan, who has a nonprofit organization for quite a while called Kids for Kids, and the website again is KFK Dancing for Life. One thing that you've done that I think is what people will be really interested in, and that, of course, was Sandy Hook. You did a Where Angels Play, and I was just wondering how that came about, and what's the result been since?
We supported. That's a great question, Walt. We support a number of different charities. And our board and our junior board members go out and do the selection process and screen the applicants that come in. and being in Connecticut, we were all affected.
Absolutely.
And parents and children
Absolutely.
across the world were affected by the tragedy at Sandy Hook. And in our world, we had an opportunity to step up and help the project that they were doing. They were building 26 playgrounds in memory of the teachers and the children.
Yeah.
In different communities that were actually affected by Hurricane Sandy.
Right.
So in our case, we had a teacher who was very respected in our local school where we actually hold our dance competition, and her grandchild was one of the victims. So we were able to donate in her name for her grandchild's memory. So it was a very powerful statement, and it was a very worthwhile cause. The folks that put that project together and got it done in less than 2 years and built 26 amazing and totally unique playgrounds in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut.
And that was one for every child.
Really
that would be one for every child that perished in the Sandy Hook tragedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it was in 3 states. Wow, I didn't realize it was 3 states. New York, New Jersey,
and
Connecticut.
started by a firefighter, Bill Lavin from New Jersey. Just an ordinary guy who wanted to do something right, and the outpouring of support that we saw for those families and for that community was just amazing, and we were proud to be part of.
And I understand subsequently the school itself has been razed. It's been torn down.
It has, and the Newtown community I'm somewhat familiar with, and they are an amazing group of people who are very resilient, and they have bonded together, and they've done the best they can to move their community forward.
Yeah,
So
it's not easy. Now you mentioned of course the Hurricane Sandy that was through more in New Jersey. Can you expand on that?
There's still a lot of rebuilding going on, as far as I understand,
right.
for Hurricane Sandy in New York, New Jersey, and in some extent back where I am in Connecticut. I'm speaking to you on my nonprofit side. I happen to be privileged to work for the American Red Cross back here in Connecticut,
right.
and so I've seen some amazing work being done. Again, some amazing resilience, and people stepping up and helping others, which is really what it's all about. The premise of the Red Cross is to alleviate human suffering, but it's through the kindness and the generosity of donors and the power of the volunteers that come forward to do that.
It's
so
people helping people.
It's that message,
And
it really is.
And one of the reasons that I was very inspired to speak with you and have you on the show is because I too am very interested, we too are very interested in healing human disconnect, and as a mental health professional psychologist, I invite you to help me help you, because there's a lot that psychotherapy psychologists can do in these cases where children are getting hurt, PTSD is involved, and even though I'm here in the state of California, I am training people into my system, and the system that I created is really designed to...
The mind map system.
The mind map system is really designed to heal human disconnect and heal the wounds that the childhood subjects us to, and then life subjects us to. So if there's anything that I can do as a mental health professional here in California, along with my team that I'm training, please do reach out to me and let me know what I can do to help.
Absolutely. That level of cooperation is just wonderful to hear, and the support, everyone's support is just so important. So thank you so much.
Yeah, very, very much so. And do you have any performers out here in California that we can tell the audience about, or the people who are local? I mean, certainly I live in Los Angeles, the Valley. Is there anything going on this side of the world where we can watch, participate, contribute?
I would say stay tuned. We are
Okay.
taking our show on the road. As I said, our home is in Connecticut,
Okay.
and that's where we're most comfortable. We have done dance competitions and events in other states, Massachusetts and New Jersey, and we have done fundraising events in California with our KFK West
Okay.
group.
Oh, the West
Okay.
group.
I think,
Okay. All right. All right. KFK West. All right.
Okay, because I'm
so
moving
stay
in.
tuned. Yeah.
Okay, because we're moving into the area of well, we're on a micro level of healing human disconnect, and as you know, the globe is tremendously disconnected.
Absolutely, it
So
is.
there's another branch of the work that I'm doing, which actually originated back in 2001. And the project was called Join the Human Race, and now it's called Healing Global Disconnects. So we're moving into that direction. And the fact that we have people like yourself and the children who are inspired to share their light and make a difference in other people's lives, and through creativity and having fun, it's just such an amazing thing to teach your children to be givers.
The thing is, we obviously want to teach our children to be givers, but
Yeah.
obviously it comes from the parents. Another
Right.
question I had was, well, how can parents actually play a role in making this change happen, in our society, in a micro or a macro level?
I that's a great question. I think parents have such a responsibility
Absolutely, we
to
do.
start with,
We-
and it really starts with them thinking outside of themselves and
Yes.
then think of a larger purpose and not getting caught up in their day-to-day problems, but really trying to think beyond that and being good role models for their own family, for their own children, and being positive about the experience. And also, if a child is interested in something along those lines, taking the extra time, taking the time to have the conversation about it. Why is it important? Take that child to the extra lessons it's needed if they want to volunteer or they want to stay after school to help with a project that betters the community. To have the patience to do those extra things to support their child who wants to
Absolutely.
give back and wants to help others. It takes a commitment.
It does take commitment. I had one parent I talked to years ago. He had a closet full of stuff that his kid wasn't interested in anymore. And it's like, you know what? You can't look at what you did and what the kid didn't do. Kids are little scientists. They don't know any better. They haven't been exposed to everything. So, okay, they got a baseball and it didn't work. Okay, they got a football and it didn't work. Okay, they got a basketball and it didn't work. Well, and they got a tennis ball, and that was pretty cool. But you know what? You don't just hand them a tennis ball and go, oh, yeah, tennis is your thing. There's a journey. There's a process. And you can't complain about the fact that the kids don't like it. They got to figure it out. And that's what us parents are supposed to do, is to encourage them and try and expose them, because they don't know.
Yeah, they figure it out in their own due time.
Yes,
don't
they do. And many times it's not ours.
Right.
And so do you think helping others can be habit forming?
I really think it is habit forming. I look around at my own family and extended family now, and this is the core of what we do. I'm blessed to have 3 wonderful daughters and now a son-in-law, and they're all so committed to the organization. I have nieces and nephews that are now being part of it. It is a family way of life, and we have other families. There's about 5 or 6 different families that are part the nucleus of what we do, and have been for over 20 years now. And we're now into about our 3rd generation, and it becomes a habit.
Wow.
It becomes a way of life, and
Cool.
and it doesn't take a lot. When we started, it was a one-day dance competition where a bunch of parents got together and said, "Hey, we can do this, and our kids can help." And the kids really wanted to help others in the process. And what started as that 22 years ago, now we've raised over $1 million, and we've affected thousands
Incredible.
of
This is
lives in the
unbelievable.
process.
So powerful.
Now, can people donate on the website?
Oh, they can certainly donate on the website.
I thought you'd
absolutely.
never ask. Okay, and again, folks, if you want to donate, you can, or check out the chapters that are around and expanding. You can either go to kfkdancingforlife.com. It's Kids for Kids, KFK, dancingforlife.org. Excuse me, .org.
Right. And we have a PO box, and we accept the any donations.
Any donation?
And all of what we do goes to defray our costs for doing our events, and goes directly to the charity.
Is that mailing address on this website?
It is. It's PO Box 757, North Haven, Connecticut 06473.
Okay. One more time. Why don't you repeat it one more time? So they can mail in donations to PO Box
757, North Haven, Connecticut, and that's 06473.
There you go. Well, we'll see if we can raise your second million faster than your first. The first million is always the toughest. The first million is always the toughest, right?
Yeah.
Well, folks, you've been listening to The Dancing Dad, which is Richard Branigan. He's in New Haven, Connecticut. He's a big kahuna there, and trying to make a life, and is busier than a one-armed paper hanger 24/7. I know how swamped you are, so I really appreciate your time and
Very much so.
And your perspective.
It's my pleasure.
It's awesome. So
And hope to have you back, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of other topics to talk about, and do keep us posted insofar as where these dances are occurring, so that we can keep our audience informed insofar as where to go to watch these performances.
Our next segment, folks, and you can stay on if you'd like to, Richard, is our Shrink That Tune. We take a popular song and read the lyrics, and this one's called Children of the Universe, and it's written by Molly Smitten-Downes. So if you want to chime in or not, depending upon, I know it's late where you are, since you're East Coast, that's up to you, but we're going to do our Shrink That Tune time here, and it starts out, power to the people. I've been tired of this thinking, so I drowned it all by drinking. Feels like a bitter pill, but I just wash it down with the taste of something sweet that some doctor gave me.
So I'm going to translate this into power of the children. Okay, I'm going to tweak the words a little bit. Picked this song, of course, because of our theme, Children of the Universe, children having power in the universe. And so basically what happens to us when we're not of the light, when we're not giving, we're not sharing our light, then we get tired, and over time we grow up to fill the hole in the soul with bitter pills and washing down medications that doctors give us. But what can make us feel amazing and full of energy, best of all, is, as we're talking about, giving.
And this is my message. I'm not giving in. We shine like diamonds with fire in our bones. Stand beside you. After feeling that, I'll never walk alone. We're children of the universe, don't you know? Dancing on the edge of time.
Well, it's so relevant to what we've been talking about. Children of the universe, they're dancing on the edge of time, meaning that this is a new generation, generation where children can be the leading and on the bleeding edge of being the cause of helping others, shining like diamonds with a lot of fire in their bones, knowing that we stand beside them because we as adults support what they're up to.
We're children of the universe, don't you know? Dancing edge of time. Children of the universe, yes, children of the universe. Power to the people. You know what we want, and we got to get it now. Something is stirring in the silence, and it wrecks the passive violence. Hold on tight, because the opportunity will take. Can't enter all the suffering before it gets too late.
Speaking again of our power to get what we want and to break the silence, meaning break the passivity of doing nothing, and make a difference in turning around the suffering. And of course, when I saw the lyrics of the song, I thought of you, Richard,
Absolutely.
and your organization and what the children are up to. And I know I tweaked the words a little bit, but I wanted to get the message across of children being the light, finally the light to us, adults and other children.
Because hope is on the horizon, and I'm not giving in. We are children of the universe, and don't you know, it's dancing on the edge of time. We shine like diamonds. We with love in our hearts, we say it to the end. But I'm having a feeling it might just be the start.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And as I am, the fire in my bones,
Dr.
standing beside
Judy,
him,
thank you. That was wonderful.
You're so welcome, and I really appreciate what you're doing, and I'm not the only one appreciating it. This is a community that you've built, and I'd be proud to be of service, and reach out to me, let me know what I can do.
Yeah,
and
let us know.
I'd love to play on the level of healing human disconnect and applying the mind map system to helping children in need and their families.
We will certainly do that. Thank you both for what you're doing and the messages that you're delivering.
Well, thank you for what you're doing as well.
So.
Yeah,
my
what you're
pleasure.
doing as well. So thanks for calling. We'll stay in touch, and God bless.
Please do. You too. Thank you.
Thank you.
And folks, that's our show. Again, we are drjutywtf.com. You can check us out there on that website. We're heard every Thursday on UBN Radio Network, ubnradio.com, and you can pull us on Stitcher and iTunes. We're going to play our song. We're out of here for now. We're out of time. But thanks for listening. And if you want to donate, again, it's KFK dancingforlife.org. So I've been your host, Walt, and we're now going to play our tune and check out of here. So thanks for listening and being part of our show.
I've been tired of this thinking, so I've drowned it out by drinking. Tastes like a bitter pill, but I'll just wash it down with the taste of something sweet that some doctor gave me now. And this is a madness, I'm not giving in. We're shining like diamonds with fire in our bones. Standing beside you, I've the feeling that I'll never walk alone. We're children of the universe, don't you know? Dancing at the edge of time, and it's ours to own. Just children of the universe. Out to the people. Something stirring in the silence, and it reeks of passive violence. Hold on tight, this opportunity will take, put an end to all the suffering before it gets too late. Hope's on the horizon, I'm not giving in. We're children of the universe, don't you know? Dancing at the edge of time, and it's ours to own. Just children of the universe. We're shining like diamonds with love in our
Hey listeners, are you interested in animals great and small? Do you want to help preserve